Somebody, don't you got the time? They must have broke that clock. Time's the only thing I know that can travel quite that slow. Let me hear the whistle blow.
The last hour is the hardest. You sit there with half the mind and one eye on the clock.
All I'm thinking about now is getting home and taking off my uniform.
Oh, and a nice cold beer.
When that whistle blows, a lot of guys want to sit around and talk. I just want to get out of here.
It's a pretty good day, Lane Stone. You get interested in what you're doing, and usually you fight that clock the other way. You're not looking for quitting. You're wondering what you haven't got done, and it's already quitting time. There's not a house in this country I don't look at every time I go by, and if there's one stone crooked, I still notice it. The people that lives there might not notice it, but I notice it. Stone's my business. Stone's my life. I daydream all the time about stone. Someday, I'm gonna build me a stone cabin down by the Green River. Give me some stone cabinets in the kitchen, everything stone. All my dreams seem to have a little piece of rock mixed up in them. He builds a house with his hands. 30 years go by, it stands. It tells you who he was. A life goes fast, and the mason sleeps real good. Does his workday flies. Quitting time's a big surprise. And then it's one more stone to get just right. It's always one more stone before the night. Every house he builds, every stone he lays, it's not just making money and counting off the days. He builds a house with his hands. 100 years go by, it stands. It tells you who he was. A life goes fast, but the work a mason does, it's made to last. But the work a mason does, nothing in this world is gonna last forever. But with stone, you're getting awfully close. It's made to last.
Breaking up and now, big buddy, put your ears on for me now. Big trucker gotta have a big lie. So come on, brother trucker, you got to come back to me, brother. Keep seeing double, lest I close one eye. I've got to roll, 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 brother trucker. You're never ashamed by the shape I'm in. Roll, 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 brother trucker, I'm back on my wheels again. Roll, 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 brother trucker, outward bound from South Bend. Roll, 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 brother trucker, I'm back on my wheels again.
I'm running out of lights. Hot damn dim those headlights. Pour out to sleep in the last 2 nights. But I'm gonna be alright. pistol is dry as a bone, and I wonder if my baby's alone. I've got to roll, 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 brother trucker. You say where and I say when. Roll, 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 brother trucker. I'm back on my wheels again. Roll, 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 brother trucker. Back it on up and do it again. Roll, 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 brother trucker. I'm back on my wheels again.
Moving over New Jersey, they say police. I'm in a hurry. Won't you let me go in peace? I'm independent. I ain't got no teams to do. Cause the AFL and the CIO, they still don't own the road.
And the only man telling me where to go is the man who owns the load. Roll, 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 brother trucker.
You say where and I say when.
Roll, 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 brother trucker. I'm back on my wheels again. Roll, 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 brother trucker. Back it on up and do it again. Roll, 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 brother trucker. I'm back on my wheels again.
I make 2 round trips to Milwaukee and pass within 4 blocks of my house. You sit in your truck, and your only companionship is your own thoughts. You get mighty lonely not talking to anyone for 48 hours. Halfway back from Milwaukee, you gotta call your dispatcher. And I'll tell you, you're even glad to talk to him. Hello? Chet? This is... Hello? Hello? Dirty Squad Phone Company!
Bell Atlantic, may I help you?
Yeah, I just got cut off.
I'm sorry you're having trouble. May I have the number you were calling?
Yeah, 219-769-5910.
I'm sorry, sir. That number is busy.
Jesus, lady, I was just talking to him. What's wrong with you guys?
I'm sorry, sir. Perhaps the party is trying to reach you. Why don't you wait 5 minutes, then place your call again.
Sometimes you really want to talk to them if they sound upset. For me, it's a temptation to say, gee, what's the matter? But you can't say more than, I'm sorry you're having trouble. If you get caught talking to a customer, that's 1 mark against you. One man said to me, operator, I'm lonesome. Will you talk to me? And I said, I'm sorry, I just can't. But you can't. I'm a communications person, and I can't communicate.
I always thought a receptionist as a dumb broad at the front desk taking phone messages. And now I'm one. So of course I've changed my opinion. She had to be special, right? Because I thought I was special. I was fine until we had this office party. I'd be having a fairly intelligent conversation with someone. Then they'd ask me what I did. When I'd say, I'm a receptionist, they'd make an excuse and walk away. Now I make up other names for what I do. Communications control, servo mechanism.
It's strange, but you get tired of talking.
Your mouth gets tired of moving constantly for 6 hours straight without a 10-minute break. You can't think about it. Everybody's in a hurry to talk to somebody else and not talk to you. You're in the room the size of a gymnasium, surrounded by people talking to people thousands of miles away.
I'm tired at the end of the day, tired of talking.
There isn't a 10-minute break in the day that's quiet.
You can't think. What I do all day is say what I have to say as quickly as possible and switch the call to what I was going to. I've noticed people have asked me to slow down when I'm talking.
Do I listen in on conversations?
I never listen in on a conversation, but I'll tell you,
Some girls really do.
Sometimes when it's late at night, people on the lines are so funny. You'll just sit there and laugh until tears roll down your face.
I once worked for Illinois Bell, and I don't care who the operator is. The greatest thing is listening in on phone conversations. If you work nights and it's real quiet, I don't think there's an operator who hasn't listened in on phone conversations.
It makes the night go by faster.
Sometimes to make the day go faster, I'll do drawings. Mundane, sort of. Things of nature. Never people. I pretend I'm alone and things are quiet. I call it the land of no phone. I never answer the phone at home.
I saw this ad in the paper. Equal opportunity employer, salary plus commission. When I got the job, I was thrilled. All I had to do was talk on the phone. Didn't even have to think what to say. They had it all written out.
Bell Atlantic, may I help you?
Good afternoon.
I'm
Short
sorry,
Schaefer
sir.
Gambling
That
Rights.
number's
May I help
busy.
you?
Hello.
Perhaps
I'm
if you wait
sorry,
5
that
minutes,
won't-
that
Would
helps
you
you
like
all.
to drive us
in
mail?
this paper. It's for a worthy cause to help blind children. What really did it for me was one call I made. It was the worst ghetto area. The guy listened patiently, and he said, I really would like to help. He was blind himself. Here I was sitting here telling him a bunch of lies. I apologized and thanked him. I ran to the ladies' room. I felt nauseous. I prayed right there in the restroom. I said, Dear God, there must be some other work for me. I've never harmed anyone in my life, dear Lord. I went back in and finished the day because I had no other means of employment. And then, as if my prayers were answered, I got another job. I went into my supervisor's office and told him a few things. I was sick of his bullying. I wasn't going to lie for him anymore. Oh, Lord, I really can't tell you what I said. But I was very calm. I didn't shout. Oh, I felt good. I still work in the same building as him. I pass him in the hallways every once in a while. Every time I see him, I hold my head very high, very erect, and I just keep walking.
It's something to run into somebody who says, It's a nice day out, operator. How's your day? Busy? Has it been a rough day? You're so thankful for these people. You say, oh yes, it has been an awful day.
Thank you for asking.
Would you like your quota of mercury today? What's exciting at the bar that I can offer?
Well, actually,
It would be very boring if I had to say, would you like a cocktail over and over? So I come out a bit different for my own enjoyment. Instead, I say, what's exciting at the bar that I can offer, or something. Maybe with cocktails, I give them a little philosophy. They have coffee, I give them political science. I have an opinion on every single subject there is. My bosses don't like it, so I speak sotto voce. But if I get heated, I don't give a damn. I speak like an Italian speaks. I have to be a waitress. How else does the world come to me? Everyone has hunger. Everyone wants to eat. And I serve them. I give service. I can't be servile. There is a difference. I get intoxicated giving service. It becomes theatrical. And I'm Mata Hari. I'm on stage. There's some as don't care when they put down a plate. There's a sound, not with me. When they move a chair and scrape with a grate on the ground, not with me. I will have my hand right when I place a glass. Notice how I stand right as customers pass. Serve a demi-tasse with a gesture so gentle, or do it again till it's near oriental. Da 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 dum da. It's an art to be a great waitress, to see that you pleasure each guest. There's a twist to my wrist if I bring your steak in, and watch how I take in your liver and bacon. It all will be stylish and smart. That's what makes it an art. I remember one day, as I do now and then, I had shakes. Down I went, there with my tray full of coffees and cordials and cakes. Down I went, but I kept my poise. Not one guest heard me fall. Never made a noise, not one noise, food and all. If you have to crawl, you give them what they like. You carry your tray like it's almost ballet-like. It's an art to be a fine waitress. Each evening I treasure the test. Like tonight was a fight, 'cause they hired this busboy, this clothes all a must boy, and guests heard him cuss boy. Did we have a quick heart to heart? Even that is an art. Your steak, m'lady. I prefer to say milady. I hate ma'am. And sometimes I like to say playfully to the gentleman, your check, my lord.
Let's see now. What do you think we should tip you?
Oh, do what you like. Don't play God with me. Tips. Ha! Tips are important to people like captains and barmen. For them, it's a tipsy. For me, I'm a gypsy. Just toss me a coin and I suddenly feel like I'm Carmen. So on through the ulcer, the backache, the hot, sweaty feet. On you go. Through is your knife dulcer, and Madam wants what with her meat? On you go. 2 a.m. approaches, the curtains descend. There among the roaches, my act is at an end. Every night I tend to find myself crying. There's no job so trying or so satisfying. I tell everyone I'm a waitress and I'm proud. Every time someone says to me, hey, you're terrific, how come you're just a waitress? You know what I say to them? I say, why? Don't you think you deserve to be served by me? It's an art to be a great waitress. Do without leisure or rest. So I zoom through the room with a flair. No one else has the air. No one else has, I swear. No one else has my lilt. When I say a la carte, you can see it gives me a glow. Every time I prove I'm a pro. Maybe I'm not quite Michelangelo, but I'm not just a waitress. I'm a one-woman show. After 16 years of working here, I just took a trip to Hawaii. Went with my lover. My 2 daughters kept telling me to act my age. I said, honey, if I were acting my age, I wouldn't be walking. Not after 16 years on this job.
I'll be eligible to retire in 25 years. That's not 36 years ago. 37 years.
I would like the experience after so many years. I would like the experience of not having to go to work.
When I retired, the first 2 years I was downhearted. I had no place to go, nothing to do. Then I gave myself a good going over. Joe, I said, you can't sit at home like that and waste your time. You gotta get out and do things. Well, the day goes pretty fast for me now. I don't daydream at all. I just think of something and forget it. That daydreaming don't do you no good. Keep busy. Keep moving. That's the trick. You wake at 10, fold up the bed. You don't want to leave your couch open all day, you know it's depressing. You cook an egg, you toast some bread. You cook for yourself, you save a bundle. If you don't keep track of your money, who will? You think about the day ahead. You don't go feeling sorry for yourself. It's like I said, you can sit at home, be mad at the world. You can get out and do things. You take a walk, you meet a chum. This one guy lives down by National Biscuit. Boy, you should see the nice aroma. You shoot the bull, you argue some. Maybe he calls up a couple other fellas, come over, play some poker. You lose at gin until they come. This guy remembers what cards you picked up. The dirty bum. What, even getting beat at gin sure beats doing nothing. You take a bus,
you take a train, you go visit your wife's grave. On the way you read the Reader's Digest. It does you good to use your brain, or maybe you get out and see a cousin, you bring a six-pack along. You take a stroll down memory lane. When we were young, we was always together. And Raising Cane, we go back a long ways, him and me. Oh, the times we had. I remember once, back in '62, we were at this fair with these girls we knew on this crazy ride where you screamed or you prayed, the Big Dipper they called it. We could hardly walk as we left the car, so we staggered down for a candy bar, and we sat and laughed in the Penny Arcade. It's 6 o'clock, you watch the news, the politicians get you so mad you want to throw your slippers, that's it. You cook some pranks, no big to-dos, most nights you lie around, you straighten up, maybe I call your daughter. You watch a game, you take a snooze, but then there's Sundays different. You change your shirt and shine your shoes, because you're going around the block to the tavern. You shoot some pool, you drink some beer. You don't have to drink a lot to have a good time. Maybe 3, 4 in the evening. You find a pal, you bend his ear. You meet a lot of your old crowd there Sundays. Sometimes you get together and you sing the kind of song you never hear, like Pretty Boy, T for Two. And then you cheer till we meet again. I want you to waltz that tune, honest to God. I was at a dance, I was 17, and the girl was like from a magazine, and the lights were low, and I really mean low. I think a couple of my friends had something to do with that. And I kissed her cheek as we waltzed away. I remember that like it's yesterday. Boy, was she surprised. I can hear her say, Joe. They drive you home from round the block. You take your cash out from your sock. You fix the bed, you check the lock. You wind the clock. When I retired, a lot of people told me, Joe, you got your health. You shouldn't have done it. But I don't know why I did it. I got no regrets though. I keep busy. I keep traveling. I go to fires every once in a while. That one fire we had on Milwaukee Avenue 3 months ago, I was there. I was surprised that the fire was coming out heavy as hell, but you don't see no fire, you know? There must have been 30 units there. You get your news over the radio. Boy, that was some fire.
You go in there and it's dark. Smoke's pouring out the building. It all happens really fast. I feel this tremendous heat to my left. I turn around and the whole room is orange, yellow. You can just see orange and feel the heat. The lieutenant and the other firemen get a ladder up and saved 2 people. But downstairs, there's a guy trying to get out the door. They had bolts on the door. He was burnt dead. Know what the lead man said?
We lost the guy! We lost the guy!
You saved 2 people. How would you know there's a guy sleeping on the pool table?
Yeah, but we lost the guy!
I always wanted to be a fireman. Lots of guys want to be firemen. It's like kids. Everybody's still a kid. Guys 40 years old still feel like kids inside. I used to be a cop. Know why I switched to fireman? I liked people. And sometimes when I was a cop, I'd feel a hate coming into me. I remember one time I went to the roof of this project, and there's a big guy, about 6'7", at the top of the stairs. He had his back turned to me. I said, "Hey fella, turn around." He said, "Yeah, wait a minute." His elbows were moving around his belt. I said, "Turn around a minute." It dawned on me he had a gun on his belt. He was trying to get it out. So I said, "Holy crap." So I pulled up my gun and said, "I'm gonna shoot." He threw his hands up against the wall. And there was a girl in the corner, which I couldn't see. Maybe a lot of guys would have killed him. I said, "Holy crap, I could have killed you." He started shaking, and the gun in my hand was shaking. I said, I must have been crying. I said, "Just get the hell out of here." So I took the fire department test in '93 and got called in '94. You know, this world's so messed up. This country's messed up. But the firemen, you actually see them produce. You see them put out a fire. You see them come out with babies in their hands. You see them give mouth to mouth when a guy is dying. You can't get around that. That's real. I worked in a bank once. You know, it's just paper. You're reading numbers. It's not real. But I can look back and say, I helped put out a fire. I helped save somebody. It shows something I did on this earth. I always wanted to be a fireman.
You know what I always wanted to do? Huh? I wanted to play the piano. That's what I really wanted. And I write songs and things about my life growing up in the South. My mama and my grandmama. But now I got my own beautiful daughter, and I got plans for her. So I leave my house every morning, go scrub rooms up at the Marriott. And at night, comes here to this office and it's scrubbing again. For generations, that's all we've done, scrubbing, my grandma, my mama, and me. But my daughter, she ain't gonna do no domestic work. I aim to be the end of that particular line. Mama worked just like her mama before her. Domestic work was their trade. They was laundress, cook, and live-in help. Thursday girl, babysitter, and hotel maid. They worked 6 days a week, all day long. Never could get out of debt. Those were the days when the minimum wage was anything you could
first in this family. See by the face that you see, she ain't gonna be stuck inside no laundry room. Where she's sleeping, she be pushing her own broom. Day may never come till she can sleep till noon. Long as she can get up singing her own tune. For me that day ain't come too soon.
I come from 4 generations of cleaning women. But my daughter, she's a whole new generation. That's what we got coming up today. A whole new generation.
Hey, my name is Ralph Warner. I'm 19 years old. I ran this mutual fund for students in my school. My father ran his own Wall Street firm. I guess that's what I learned. He's an arbitrager. You know, those guys who's always getting caught for insiders trading? I took ethics in school, so I'm sure I won't have any problem. I also took a year of American history and read the paper every day. Well, the sports and business section anyway. I'm going to business school, Wharton, naturally. What I'd really like to be is a professional golfer. Realistically, I'll probably be an entrepreneur. Then I'll start a family, of course. My quote, dream girl, unquote, has long, brunette hair. Doesn't have to wear a lot of makeup because she's naturally pretty. She's going to have a lot of personality, because when I'm 30 and we're moving up the ladder, she's going to have a lot more than looks. She'll be a good mother, too. I hope to have 3 kids, 2 boys and 1 girl. I'd like a colonial house, one that possibly leans towards Mediterranean style. Maybe you could even be backing a golf course so my wife and I could play golf whenever we want. I wonder if my wife can play golf. Anyway, this summer I'm working with a realtor on the Cape. We're starting a timeshare program. There's a lot of commission in this. It looks pretty promising. By the way, are you interested in an accommodation on the Cape Cod?
My name is Charlie. I'll be 20 in 3 weeks. I was recommended for this job as copy boy for the Chicago paper. So I went down to the paper and talked to the editor and told him how much I wanted to be a journalist. And he liked me. I had a tie on. Coming to work for me was kind of a missionary kind of thing. I was bringing organic walnuts and organic raisins, and I was just giving them away to everybody. See, at this stage of the game, I was in a very spiritual mood. I was enjoying my job because I was answering the phone most of the time. People would call up and they would have a complaint, and I would tell them, this is a capitalist newspaper, and as long as it's a capitalist newspaper, it's not going to serve you, because the purpose is to make money for its owner. So then I would tell them to call up the editor or come down and take over the paper themselves. And people responded very well to these suggestions. But then the editor calls me into his office, and he says, blah, 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 blah. I just want to take a baseball bat and smash his head in. I mean, he's a really nice guy. I like him a lot. Though I don't know how much pleasure I would get in shooting him up with a 50 caliber machine gun and just watching his body splatter to pieces. All my fantasies that spring to the paper for some reason was just getting a machine gun and shooting them. Or I could get a gun and walk in the editor's office and say, okay, how do you face your death? I've been thinking for months, what will I do when I get fired? I wanted to do something to show them, hey, I'm better than you bastards. I'm getting fired because I'm different. So how was I going to show them? Smoke a joint in the city room, meditate in the library, or I could kidnap the editor and shoot him? I had to think quick. So I looked right at the editor and I said, I hope you can live with the conditions that you're creating. And then I walked away and I started to cry. But then the editor hurries after me and he says, no, I'm not the one creating these conditions. You are. And I said, no, I'm not the one who has the power. You're the one who has the power. Now I've got myself unemployment. They were nice to me the first few times, but then this woman told me to get a number. I wanted to tell her, screw you, lady. I can wait outside your apartment door, knock you over the head, and steal your money! But that's bitterness. I don't like being bitter. I'm a pacifist.
Songs say, where are you going, my son? Now I know they're true. Boy, you never stop to think how fast the years run. Now they're taking you. I remember you was 3.5. Your mommy, we'd sit there after things got quieted. We'd laugh at some new words you said, how tough you were to get to bed, and we'd plan the night away, planning for our kid. I was your hero then. I couldn't do no wrong as far as you were concerned. You thought I was the best of men. The tables hadn't turned. You hadn't learned how little time it takes. And daddies make mistakes. Seems to me that lately I've been thinking a lot. I think about my dad. Lots of funny things come back I thought I forgot. Now they make me sad. High school and it used to be. I didn't want him touching me, and I shuddered if he did. Summer nights, baseball games beneath the lights, and sleeping in the car. My daddy and his kid. He was my hero then. He couldn't do no wrong as far as I was concerned. I thought he was the wisest and the strongest and the best of men. The tables hadn't turned. I hadn't learned how little time it takes. Everybody breaks, and daddies make mistakes. This may sound square, but my kid is my imprint, you know what I mean? This is why I work. Every time I see a young guy walking by dressed real sharp, I'm looking at my kid. You know what I want? I want my kid to tell me that he's not going to be like me. I want him to look at me and say, Dad, you're a nice guy, but you're a damn dummy. Hell yeah. If you can't improve yourself, you improve your posterity. Otherwise, life isn't worth nothing anymore. You might as well go back to the cave and stay there. I'm sure the first caveman who went over the hill to see what was on the other side, he didn't go there wholly out of curiosity. He went there because he wanted to get his son out of the cave. I heard a lot of songs say, where are you going, my son? Now I know they're for real. Boy, you never stop to think how fast the years run and the things they steal.
it seems I always knew why I do the things I do and the things I never did. Why I work my whole damn life so's I could give a better life than the one my dad could give me. I'd give it to my kid.
See, it's not just the work. Somebody built the pyramids.
Pyramids, the Empire State Building, those things don't just happen.
Now, I don't care who you are. You're gonna drive down this road and say, I worked on this road.
If there's a bridge, you say, I worked on that bridge.
You know what I think? The carpenter built a cabin for poets, but the poets and the carpenter are a little black. There's 3 or 4 lines on the wall. So we labor with our minds. This place we can relax in was built by someone who works with his hands.
Picasso can point to a painting, a writer can point to a book. What can I point to?
Everybody should have something to point to.
You know what I'd like? I would like to see a building, say the Empire State. I would like to see on it a foot-wide strip from top to bottom with the names of every electrician, every ironworker, all the names. So a guy could walk by, he could take his kid and say,
See that building? I was the one who did the design. I was the one who drafted the plans, every detail and every line. See that building? I ran the crane that lifted the beams. I was the guy who worked up above. Look at those bricks are mine. See that building? Look out my door, hey to the frame. See that building? 40 flies up, I scratch my name. See that building? I'm on the staff, I work as a guard. I clean the floors and I think I'm good. People don't know my job is hard. See that building? Everyone should have something to point to, something to be proud of. Look what I did, see what I done. I did the job, I was the one. Everyone should have something to point to, something to be tall in the crowd. Proud. See that building day after day after day after day. That's where I put myself on the line. That's where I sweat to earn my pay. See that building.